still active duty, going through nursing school, passing, becoming a nurse. What would you say has been like the most challenging experience you've had so far and that you had to overcome throughout this journey?
Um, Boot Nation, welcome back to the channel. Hey, so late 2020, I was in a podcast called the Brave and Faithful Podcast. This podcast is centered around active duty and veterans that are making a difference outside of the military, either during their service or, of course, after their service. I was asked to be on this podcast to kind of talk about my journey to being a nurse and how I did all of my prerequisites and did nursing school while I was on active duty. So since I was invited, who am I to turn down an invitation? And if anybody is interested in the shirt or any of the gear that they have, I'll make sure to leave that link in the description box below. Hey, and remember, like, share, hit that notification bell so you guys know when I drop new videos. Hey, we cleared 500 subscribers on the way to 1,000. And without further ado, let's check it out.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Brave and Faithful Podcast. Today, I have another special guest with you guys. He is an active duty Navy corpsman, still serving and still kind of doing his thing on the side. I have none other than Kevin Gibson. What's going on, Kevin? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. So just tell our audience a little bit more about yourself and what you do right now.
All right. Well, my name is Kevin Gibson, or HM1 Gibson, if anybody ever sees me walking around. For those that aren't in the Navy, that is a Navy E6. HM stands for Hospital Corpsman. Been in the Navy, I just hit my 13-year mark, September 27th. So, kudos for me, I guess. So, but right now I am a TCCC and PHTLS instructor, as well as a emergency war surgery coordinator here at DEMRTI, and DEMRTI stands for the Defense Medical Readiness Training Institute here at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio.
And I was just watching your Instagram, and you recently just picked up, right? You were mapped to first.
Yeah, I was mapped to first. It's kind of a funny story because it's my second time going up for MAP. The first time I went up for MAP was this past March, and then of course COVID hit, and they were like, "We ain't mapping nobody." But I was like, "All right, I guess the virus is not ranked enough." I don't know, but they somebody else had made it. And then, of course, there was a lot of stuff that had happened in between there where restriction of movement and stuff like that. So when we started going back to work and doing telework, stuff like that, I was still able to kind of make some moves and still make sure that I was good to go, as well as a lot of my guys were still good to go. And then another quota popped up, and then whoop, it was given to me. Well, not given, I definitely earned it, but it was definitely one of those for me. So,
well, congrats again on that, man.
I appreciate that.
So, you've been in the Navy for a while. This isn't your first duty station or whatnot. What's been your biggest takeaway so far from the military and the Navy in general?
That's I can't really pinpoint it down to maybe, I guess, one, but I think just specifically for me, it's the Navy has given me at least a purpose. Because like when I joined, it was just, you're kind of like when you get out of high school, you're kind of lost, and you're just like, all right, well, I did high school because I was told to do this, but now what do I do now? So I ended up doing a year of college. That was fun. MTV really didn't make it all that great as it was made out to be. So, and when I ended up joining, I ended up getting a little bit more direction. So I would say definitely the Navy gave me direction, and it definitely made me grow up a lot quicker than my peers. And definitely mentorship. I think I would stick with that. Like mentorship and direction are two of the biggest things I would take away.
Have you had a lot of, being in for that long? Have you had a lot of mentors that you've had along the way throughout your Navy career?
Oh yeah, I've had good mentors at almost every duty station that I've been at. I've had people who have been mentors for the sake of, hey, I'm going to be your mentor. And I'm just like, nah, I'm good. But then I've also had, like I said, I've had a lot of good mentors who are still my mentors to this day. Some who were enlisted who are now officers, some who are officers who are about to retire, some that were HM2s or E5s and now they're chiefs and senior chiefs. So I definitely have a lot still to this day.
And I think that's what makes a good mentor, right? It's not like once you leave the command, oh, we're good, I don't have to talk to you or hear from me again. The good mentors that are out there constantly stay in contact and constantly check up on you and actually care and see how you're doing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I get text messages randomly from an officer. She's a nurse and she's just like, hey, so what are we doing? And I'm like, right now I'm not doing anything in particular. She was just like, oh, okay, so what's up with that direct commission? And I'm just like, it's still in the process. And she's like, all right, I'm just checking, I just want to make sure you're good. And then she tells me, what can I do for you? And that's the best thing about a mentor. It's like not what the mentor, it's not about what they can do for you, but it's what you as the mentor who has the knowledge, what you can pass down to somebody else so they can go in a great direction for themselves.
That's awesome to hear, man. So speaking of nursing, so I see you wearing the shirt, the boot nurse. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit more about this and what you got going on with that?
So I don't want to like, I guess, draw it out, but I started my nursing journey. It would date all the way back to 2013, but I started nursing school in 2017 while I was still active duty, or while I'm still active duty. I am currently still active duty. I want everybody to understand that I still go to work, I still PT, I still do all the other stuff that everybody else does, but I went to nursing school while I was still working as an instructor. Graduated in 2018, had a couple of hiccups along the way, but I just recently got my nursing license in June of this year. And once that happened, I kept telling myself, man, like it was a journey for me. And I want people to know the journey, not because I want to gloat and boast about me being a nurse, but it's about telling people the struggles, the highs and the lows of how to get here. And especially for those individuals who are in the military, who, do what they're supposed to do and then still have the free time to try to pursue something else, that's higher than where they currently are. And then the whole boot nurse thing, I sat here for probably about a month and I had this whole notebook full of just names. I had one called the Pogue nurse, the Pogue Merce, the Corpsman Merce. It was just it was funny to me because I laughed at it. Other people would look at it and be like, no, that's stupid. Don't put that.
Yeah.
So I eventually came to the boot nurse, and I had two different reasonings behind it. The military reasoning behind it is because the term boot is essentially, hey, you just came out of boot camp, you don't know anything about anything, and you are always going to be learning about something. That is the whole premise of just the boot nurse. And then the second portion was for civilians. Obviously, I'm active duty in the military or in the military in general. And most people, when they see boots, they'll be like, oh, those are military boots. That person must be in the military. So it kind of has both meanings. And then I mashed them together. And then, I started my YouTube channel back in June. Mm-hmm. So.
And that's when you graduated, right? Or that's when you passed your.
Yeah. And that's when I passed my nursing exam, because even though I passed my nursing exam in this year and I graduated in 2018, I felt like I didn't have the credibility to start a YouTube channel about nursing if I wasn't a nurse yet. So now that I am a nurse, I'm just like, all right, cool. Now let me tell you how I got here and then on and then beyond. So that way it just helps people kind of just navigate, hopefully give them some type of direction for themselves.
Yeah. And then you're also just doing what your mentors have been doing with you. You're just passing along that knowledge, the wisdom and experience that you've learned along the way for someone to see and be like, hey, this guy's did this while he was still active duty, it gives somebody else an inspiration to reach for.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I get messages from a couple of my former students, and they ask me, hey, you've done this. Would you mind telling me how to do this? Or if I don't have the answer, I'm just like, hey, you can go to this website because this website will be able to give you more information than I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
Or, hey, oh, you want to be a public health nurse? Hey, I know the perfect person who can help you out with that. And so I would reach out to that person. I'd be like, hey, this individual is thinking about this. Can I give them your number, your contact? Absolutely. And so it's just, it's just like that whole mentorship, that whole networking. That's all it is.
That's definitely. So, you still active duty, going through nursing school, passing, becoming a nurse. What would you say has been like the most challenging or experience you've had so far and that you had to overcome through all this journey?
I would say failure. Just failure and just everything that's encompassed with just life. Like, as in, you don't do well. Well, I'll even bring it back to the enlisted side. Like, you don't do well on the exam, you don't advance, you feel like a failure, especially with how the quotas have been the last 2 years, with it being like 1%. And, a lot of people feel like a failure. And, I take the exam just like everybody else. And, I didn't do well, or I didn't advance. Then taking the nursing exam and, not being successful after going to school for so long. And then of course, you're at work and you're thinking about this, and you're thinking about family life. You're thinking about not, pulling your equal amount of weight while you're at work, not letting other people down at work, not letting yourself down at work. So it's just the overcoming of failure. And I feel like, at least for me, I know a lot of people can't say this, but at least for me as a person, I feel like 2020 was just my year to just overcome all that, where I felt like I was failing, turn that around, look at what I wasn't doing right, and building off of that to become successful for myself.
I think that's a great point. And I think a lot of people their failure is not recognizing what they need to do in order to succeed, right? A lot of people are afraid of failure. And once they experience failure, that's it. Like, they just want to quit after that. Right. What do you think, what would you say is most important in failing? Like, what's the most important lesson you can learn from failure?
I would think, well, for me, it's weird. Like, I always prepare. I prepare the best way that I feel like I know I can. And then if I fail, I'm just like, okay, I don't blame anybody but myself. And then I look at myself and be like, okay, what am I not doing in order to fix that? So the biggest lesson is just auditing yourself, self-awareness. It's like, hey, what are you not doing? All right, now that I'm not doing it, all right, cool, you need to fix it. And then once you fix it, if it still doesn't work, okay, maybe the method that I did right here was good here, but now I need to get a little bit better here. All right, let's fix it. And then now that I fixed it, maybe that can work. And so it's just consistent auditing of yourself and self-awareness in order to get better.
I love that. Just perspective and self-auditing, like you said.
Yeah.
And then, my thing is also it's only failure if you don't learn from it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of experience. There's going to be a lot of obstacles that comes along. And, don't be afraid of failure, because at one point you're not going to go through life without failures. And I think that's important for our audience to hear is, just don't be afraid of failure. Like what you said, audit yourself, see what you can do to be better, and just move forward from there and learn from those failures.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have a little saying that I like to say is, I like to learn new things every day. And that's just like, if I fail, cool. I learn not to do that. All right. And now I learn that I need to do that. And then I learn new things every day. Everybody does. That's
awesome, bro. What's been the most rewarding moment or experience you've had so far since you started your this journey as the boot nurse?
People people being successful. Like just even saying that just kind of gives me goosebumps. And I just want to let all your audience know, like, this is no joke. Like, I legit love the fact of watching other people succeed. I legit love the fact that something that I have given somebody, either it be a talk or it be a lesson or it be an email address or a website or whatever, them using it to help better themselves, and then they become successful at what they want. That's the best part about being an instructor. I think that I took away is just the genuine satisfaction of seeing somebody succeed, and that's legit all I've ever cared about.
That's awesome, man. And that's great to hear. And also, just to your point, just knowing that you did something positive in the world and helping people to go in the right direction and find success in their own way.
Oh yeah.
So Kevin, can you give our audience one actionable step that they can take right now in pursuit of, their second service, is what I like to call?
Do it. Like, don't make any excuses. If you want to do it, go and do it. And I'll use this as an example. I had been saying I wanted to do YouTube for I don't know how long. And then I said to myself that I'm going to do YouTube after I pass this exam. I got my results, and then I was just like, oh my God, I said I was going to do YouTube. Oh, I can't do it. And then I'm just like, all I have to do is just press record. Doesn't have to be perfect. Like, you learn every day, you learn how to get better. So if you're going to pursue something, pursue it. Do the research, look it up, and then do it. Like Nike, just do it. Just go do your thing.
I love it, man. Just do it. Just get out there and experience it, because you're not going to learn if you just keep thinking about it and being afraid of what's going to happen if I do this or if I don't do this. Like I said before, you're gonna fail. Just don't be afraid. Just fail forward.
Oh yeah, there it is. I like that. Fail forward. I like that. That's good.
Fail forward, man.
That's right.
So Kevin, what's one thing you want our listeners and our viewers to take away from this episode?
I would say for all the listeners is to be your best self, be the best person that you know that you can be. Always strive for greatness for yourself, because if you can't take care of yourself, you cannot take care of anyone else. That is a fact. Like, I like to say, self-health is the best health. So if you can't take care of you, you can't do anything for anybody else. And go out there and win. Go out there and win for yourself. That's all I got.
That's awesome. Thanks, Kevin. So this is the last segment of the show. This is called what I call the Fast Five, where I ask 5 questions to my guests. So are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So first question, what's one hobby you enjoy?
Going to the gym.
Okay.
When they're open.
When they're open. Are you guys open there? Or?
Yeah, they just lifted up us force protection Charlie to force protection Bravo, so now we can go to the gym now.
Okay. Just as long as you social distance, right?
That's right. Mask and shield and hazmat suit.
All right. Second question. If you had to choose one person, dead or living, to hang out with for one day, who would it be and why?
Gary Vaynerchuk, or also known as Gary V.
Gary V.
There's something about that dude, and for the fact of where he came from, his work ethic, his energy that he gives off, the fact that he genuinely cares more about people than he does about money, which is why his organization does so well. Just to sit and hang around with that guy would just listening to his podcast when I'm on my way to work is just something. I'm just like, wow, this dude got a lot going on right now.
Right, yeah.
But that dude, I would definitely want to hang out with him for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even just for a day or 20 minutes with them, like just to feed off from his energy, right? Like that guy's got a bunch of energy.
Like one day, I kid you not, one day I had a bad day. I had a bad morning. I don't know what it was. I woke up on the floor, not on my bed or something like that. I don't know what was going on. And it was about a 25-minute drive to work. And I was listening to one of his podcasts where he was doing a keynote and just listening to him talk, even though he says the same thing over and over and over sometimes. But just the way that he just gave off that energy while I was driving in the truck, I'm like, yo, like my day is about to get so much better because of whatever he just said. I can't tell you what he said, but it was good.
That's awesome. So next question, recommend a book for our audience to read.
Ooh, I would say On Call in Hell by Dr. Richard Jadik. Funny story about Dr. Jadik was, and that book is, I worked with him in Jacksonville when I was in Jacksonville, Florida. And I was doing my OR rotation, and I probably did about 2 or 3 rotations with him. Super, super, super nice guy. But what people don't realize is during the initial push into Fallujah, during the first battle of Fallujah, him and a bunch of his corpsmen, when he was with the Marines, it was like a 10-day battle, and he saved anywhere between 30 to 100 people during the push into that city. And he got him and all his corpsmen got the Bronze Star with Valor. And he genuinely was just like a super nice dude. And I knew that dude for 2 years, and I had no idea that he even did that. And this was back in 2010. So for all of my people, anybody could read this. It's a recommended book for anybody, but especially for my nurses, my medics, my corpsmen, my docs. Like, that is a book that you most definitely want to have, like, in your portfolio. Like, I have it sitting somewhere over here. I was gonna be like, hey, here it is, but yeah, On Call in Hell. That's definitely
On Call
a
in
good
Hell.
Yep,
definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a good book.
All right, next question, what's your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote?
Yeah.
Oh, I said it earlier. I learn new things every day. Because I learn new things every day. Like, I guess I'll give you another example. I had a surgeon that I worked with who, he made stupid amounts of money and he never made payments on a car. He always went to buy cars outright. And I was just like, damn, can you adopt me? Right. Or just like, let me know like what's going on with that. So he didn't know what gap insurance was. And I told him what gap insurance was. He was like, what's that? I was just like, oh, so if you pay for a vehicle and then when you drive off the lot and it depreciates, the gap insurance covers the difference of whatever the vehicle is worth if you get into an accident. And he was just like, huh, I didn't know that. I'm learning things every day. And I was like, yes, sir, you do. And then,
that was it.
Went on with my day. But that's just something simple that when he said it to me, I was just like, well, yeah, we do learn things every day. And that's it. That's one of those good quotes I like to say all the time.
That's awesome. All right. So final question. What do you see yourself in a year, 5 years, or even 10 years from now?
A year, I will be working full-time as a nurse, hopefully in an ICU residency, what I'm planning for right now. I'll probably be doing that in the reserves. Next 5 years, I see myself as hopefully doing something with flight nursing, as well as being commissioned back into the Navy. Because let's just be real, I've given 13 years of my life to the military. So I might as well just go ahead and get my next 10 and go ahead and retire and, bring folks along with me and keep giving them knowledge and, doing my thing and, then go on with my day. 10 years, hopefully have my doctorate. That's what I'm striving for within the next 10 years, is for me to have my doctorate. Hopefully the CRNA route. It's a tough school. I went up to USIS a couple of weeks ago and I saw what that university looked like and I fell in love with it. So I was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to go here. So definitely next 10 years to get my doctorate.
That's awesome, man. So again, Kevin, thank you for being on. I appreciate your time. And again, guys, if you're listening to this or if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you guys go check out his social media, at the Boot Nurse. Kevin, I appreciate all the knowledge that you dropped here. I love your quote. I learn new things every day because, if you aren't, then you aren't growing, man.
That's true. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact.
So just one final thing, how can our audience stay in touch with you?
If the audience wants to stay in touch with me, you can follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, even Twitter, and of course YouTube at The Boot Nurse right here that you see on my shirt. Come be part of the Boot Nation.
That's awesome. Boot Nation. That's
right. Come be part of the Boot Nation.
That's awesome, bro. All right. Well, Kevin, again, I thank you for your time. Appreciate all the knowledge you've dropped on the episode, and I'll talk to you soon.